Hi guys, what's up and welcome back to the Smalletics channel. So today I thought it could be fun to do something that a few of you guys have slid into my DMs and asked for, and that is talk about how I use iPhone's health app and how I sort of interpret and collect the daily data that it records, like step count and heart rate variability and all that stuff. I know that they collect a lot of data now, especially if you've upgraded your phone or updated your software, or if you have a watch as well. So I thought I'd show you, go through everything and show you what my normal numbers look like on a normal day and how I use it and how I kind of integrate it into my healthy lifestyle. Oh, and before I get started today, if you're only watching for a couple of minutes, I created and hosted a free training last week on nutrition. It's all about nutrition and crushing your cravings as a petite, so you can lose fat, burn fat in your sleep, rev your metabolism. If you want to check out the free training, the replay, you can check it out in the description below. It's totally free and it just has so much great knowledge in it. There's a Q&A at the end. There's all this stuff, so check it out if you want kind of a free training session for you as a petite woman, all about nutrition. Okay, so off the bat, what I like about this functionality and just the app in general is that it does not give you normal ranges or something to compare yourself to. So what you end up having is sort of a long-term record of what's normal for you. And that is kind of the best thing when it comes to tracking your results and tracking progress and setting goals, is not worrying about other people, not worrying about their progress, their results, what numbers they have, and just worrying about what you're working with, you know what I'm saying? It's definitely helpful to just not have that comparison going on. And there are some numbers we're going to talk about. One of them is heart rate variability, where it doesn't really matter what other people have. I mean, there's some objectivity to it, but it's so specific to you. It's better to just see like what your track record is and then know yourself, because you've looked at the data for a few months, and then you can kind of see how your body's performing, how you're feeling, if you have a goal, if you're progressing based off of where you currently are. And that'll make more sense once I get into this. But yeah, so just to start off, I'm on the summary page. Let's click activity, browse. So this just has everything. And by the way, this is not a typical day for me at all. I'll show you a typical day, but we'll go through every single thing. I just have been working all day, and it's a busy week. Normally my step count is about 8 to 10,000 steps per day. I work out once a day, strength training, or I do some form of light cardio, but we'll get there. So let's start with the stand hours. So I like the stand hours because if you're someone who works at a desk all day and you don't have a standing desk, it will remind you, especially if you have a watch, to stand up, walk around once an hour. It's generally best for your metabolism and for your body to get up once an hour, do a lap around the office or a lap around the block, whatever it needs to be, just to get out of the posture of sitting for so long. Sitting for a long time damages the fascia, which is types of structures in your muscles, shortens the front and your back, the front of the muscles in your chest, lengthens the ones in the back, and it can cause you to feel tight in your neck, all that stuff. So if you stand up, you take a break, you walk around, you're just gonna be healthier overall. So I like that they have stand. Let's look at my week in stand and see how I did. So I had 7 hours of standing, 5, 10, 11, 12, today is 3. As you can see, today is like not my normal day. I've had a lot of computer work I need to do, mainly because the training that I just told you to go watch hasn't happened yet and I'm preparing for it. It's actually in my time tomorrow, and your time it's already been done. So I'm doing a lot of work on that, making sure it's amazing for you guys. And then we can look at my monthly as well. If you usually scroll, it has highlights, you can see your averages, which is helpful. So my average is probably 10 hours. I stand for 10 hours a day, so I'm making sure I get up and move around a lot, which is great. Okay, that's a pretty simple one. Let's move into steps. So let's look at week, maybe. It looks like I was really sick earlier this week, so I did not move a lot, but you can see as I got better, it got progressively higher, up to 10,000, 8 to 10, again, is my average. It looks like, yeah, 8,500 might have been my average. And that's what works for me. I don't have a step count goal, but I know that if I'm under 8,000, it's a slow day for me. And if I want to feel my best, I want to sleep my best, I personally need to get like right over 8,000 to really feel good. So that's something that's really going to be individual though. You should look at your data and see where you're normally at and start to keep a journal and see what, when you feel best, generally getting a little bit of exercise And this is just step count. This is not exercise necessarily. This is just like walking around. It generally is better to get your step count higher. Of course, as petites, if you've watched my other videos, if you get too high of a step count, 15,000 a day, you're gonna start playing with your appetite hormones. You're gonna get hungry because that's a lot of extra energy expenditure. So I recommend starting with 8 to 10. It's a good starting place. And then if you're strength training in addition to that, you're gonna be in a really good spot activity-wise. Next up, walking and running distance. I don't really pay attention to this because I'm not a runner. Step count is like another way of saying it. So I don't know. I don't really, let's just take a look for fun. It looks like I'm probably, 3 miles a day. I just don't really look at this one. It's not that important to me. So activity. So this is interesting. The watch and the iPhone measure activity in 3 ways: standing, exercising, and moving. Moving around, step count, I'm pretty sure that's what it's based on. Exercise, I do not track. And this is something that I personally, if you use my Fitness Pal, if you use this, I do not track the calories that I expend through exercise by working out because it's inaccurate. It does not affect what you should eat. For example, in my Fitness Pal, sometimes people include their exercise. They'll enter it into the calculation and then tell you that you can afford to eat more calories because you exercise. And I think that mentality is really unhealthy, and you should not be thinking about the number of calories you've exercised because it's not a direct correlation or translation into how many calories you can eat in the day. So I don't track this. It's going off of what my watch tells it, but I don't go into my watch and click start workout when I work out because also lifting weights is pretty inaccurate when it comes to tracking the workout. It really depends on the intensity, how heavy you're lifting, how short your rest breaks are, and the iPhone and the watch can't grasp strength training. It's more accurate for calculating list activity, so running, walking, biking, that type of thing. So I don't really use this too much. I mean, there are times where we can look at the year. It has goals here. I didn't set those. I will, get an alert on my watch that I closed all 3 rings, and it's just not what I personally like to use for gauging my activity level. I like to look at the individual stats. Moving on to active and resting energy. So active and resting energy are Apple's way of simplifying your metabolism. So in terms of resting energy, this is the resting metabolism, pretty much the calories you're burning just to keep you alive while you're at rest. So when you're sleeping, when you're walking around, basal metabolic rate, that type of thing. It's not the calories that you're burning or spending when you are exercising. Then there's active energy, and it says here, this is an estimate of energy burned over and above your resting energy. Active energy includes activities such as walking slowly, pushing your wheelchair, and household chores, or as well as exercise such as biking and dancing. So all of active energy is going to be your NEAT. So this would be your non-exercise related activity thermogenesis. So this is when fidgeting, walking around, commuting, and then it's also going to take into account your workouts, all of your energy that you're expending through actually exercising. This is something I also don't look at for the same reason I just said. I don't like to track calories that I burn because I'm not working out to burn calories. I don't care about calories. It's not something I'm interested in. Resting energy, this is pretty off. My resting energy, I know, is a little bit higher than this. I don't really know why this is off. But again, I guess it's important to say I don't personally use these that much. Getting into the next couple things, flights climbed is interesting because I do low intensity steady state walks on an incline on the treadmill a few times a week, and that's interesting to sometimes look at. You'll see I just went on a hike last week. I was in Joshua Tree, so that's what that 48 floors is. I went on a huge hike, but the rest, it's interesting to kind of look at, if you do incline workouts, kind of how many floors you're climbing. And then there's heart rate. Let's get into the heart rate stuff. Heart rate, generally, there's a couple things in here. Your heart rate is what it is right now, so whatever it's measuring, 77. I'm sitting here kind of talking. There are general guidelines for where your heart rate should be based on your activity level and your age. It's an indicator of health. In terms of heart rate variability, this is an interesting one I'd like to talk about because it was a pretty big deal when they added it to the iPhone. And it's basically a different measurement of your heart rate where it's looking at the time between your heart's beating, and the higher it is, the better. It's actually a look at your relationship between your nervous system and your heart. And if it's higher, it means that your nervous system is doing well. It's recovering well from whatever stress or adaptation you have put on it. Say, you started a new job. It could be stress like that. It could be psychological stress. It could also be physiological stress, such as a workout. Say you have a really hard workout, a high intensity interval training, for example, and the next day you check your app and the number is low. Say it's in the 40s, for example, right now. This is pretty low. 40s, I mean, let's look at the year. I guess I have my own average. I'm pretty steady here. But if, for example, you'll see this dip, 35, I could have had a really hard workout the day before and my body could feel fine, but my nervous system might have still been recuperating from that workout. And it's cool because you can go in here and you can check and, if you had a really hard workout yesterday and you're not sure if you should go hard today, you could check your heart rate variability, and relative to what it was in the last few days, if it's dipped, that's a good indicator that you should take it easy, maybe do some yoga or something low intensity, go for a walk, but don't do a high intensity interval training or strength training. That's kind of a cool one. And what's great about this is there's no direct value where you should be. It's very much, I just got so distracted by what's out the window. A ton of school kids just ran by. Anyways, it's very much related to, and it's specific to you as an individual. So you don't have to really compare your numbers to other people's numbers or, look up on the internet what a normal heart rate variability is. It's very variable. And then resting heart rate, usually the lower this is, the better indicator of your heart health. There's, correlations between reduced morbidity and heart disease and things with a lower heart rate. Generally, athletes have lower heart rates. That's just another thing you could look into. Oh, this is one I really want to bring up. This one I just saw get added, headphone audio levels. I think that's really cool because obviously as kids and teenagers and then young adults in college and whatever, we can attend concerts, we attend things where audio levels are at a dangerously high, exposure level over time. And sometimes if we don't know it, we could be inducing that ourselves by playing really loud music through our earbuds. So it looks like they just added this one where they have the decibels and they show you where your audio levels are, and it tells you if it's okay or not. So this one has a way more directed, you're in the safe zone or you're not. It looks like I've always been kind of in the safe zone with this, and I don't really blast music that loud. It also has some nutrition stuff, which in my app pulled directly from my MyFitnessPal, so I'm not going to go through that. It didn't record that. Some other things I wanted to go over. Okay, so they just added fertility tracking. So they also have fertility tracking, which is cool. It says set up cycle tracking. Tracking your menstrual cycle can help you understand your overall health. Get started. So I don't do this because I'm on the pill, so I know exactly when I'm gonna have my period. But if you aren't on the pill, it could be really useful for tracking your cycle. And that could also help you gauge, whether you should work out based on how you're feeling and all of that stuff. The other thing that's cool about this is it has a medical preparedness element to it. You can go into it yourself and manually put in your health record. So for example, if you have your phone and you get into some trouble and you're unconscious on the street, God forbid, someone could pick up your phone and potentially see, your allergies, and you could add this stuff. I think that's great. I think it's good to have that on record because if you live in a city, you might not always have someone around you who knows your medical history. So I think putting in your health records could be a great addition. I've never used this for sleep before, mainly because I don't like to sleep with my phone right next to me. So I don't have any commentary on this personally. And in terms of mindfulness, so the watch buzzes sometimes and this thing will pop up that says breathe. And when I first got it, I thought it was kind of annoying because it will buzz at random times. Now I think it's really cool because I set mine to only buzz, I think I said once a day, but I swear it only buzzes when my stress levels peak for some reason. For example, if I'm stressed, if I'm, upset, it actually will buzz and tell me to breathe. And it actually has helped me become more aware of my emotions and just tune into the present. That's a really cool feature that the iWatch has, or the watch, it's not the iWatch, as the guy at the Genius Bar kept telling me. And the other thing is, what I use my watch for the most is the timer when I'm working out. This is the thing I use it for the most. I'll set timers when I'm doing Tabata. And I'll also measure my heart rate as I'm working out, because I'm trying, if I'm doing a heart rate training. For example, when I'm doing low intensity steady state cardio, I want to be at about 70% of my maximum heart rate. So the way you could figure this out yourself is you're gonna do 220 minus your age. So for me, that's 220 minus 27 is 193, and then you multiply 193 by the percentage of 70, and that's gonna get me like 135 beats per minute. So then on my watch, if I wanna be in a heart rate zone of the 70s, I'll try to increase the intensity of the workout or decrease it to get my heart rate to sync up with 135 beats per minute, and then try to maintain it there for a certain amount of time. That's definitely the most useful thing for me in terms of while I'm working out. Is just the heart rate training can be really, really good. And it can also help you gauge your intensity and learn, you know, what is intense for you. So overall, if I had to rate my top favorite features, I would say the step count is such an easy thing to implement. Heart rate variability is a really cool thing to kind of learn more about and get a little bit more in tune with your nervous system and your central nervous system. And then lastly, the heart rate beats per minute in live time. That's really great for when you're working out. I hope that you guys got something out of this and you have. Hi guys, my camera just died right as I was like saying goodbye to you guys. I hope you got some insight from this, and yeah, I'm just filming the rest of this on my iPhone because I gotta run out the door, but I don't have time to charge it, but I wanted to finish. So yeah, I hope you got something useful out of this, and I also wanted to remind you to go watch the replay of the live training. It's only gonna be available to watch for 2 more days, so 48 hours, so definitely sign up below in the description. Really good training on nutrition, totally free. And what else? If you have ever been interested in working with me for the next 48 hours, my program, Petite Power, it's a fitness and nutrition program for petite women. It's group coaching program. It is open for enrollment, and it's the last time of 2019 that I'm opening it for enrollment. So if you have any desire to learn more or get into it, definitely check out the link below. Hit me up if you have any questions. And of course, please like and subscribe if you got anything from this. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Talk to you soon. Bye.